All right, so moving on to season 4. Season 4, I guess, split up into 2 arcs. First arc is Overhaul, of course, and the second part is not the festival.
Is that the music fest? Mm-hmm. I hated this season.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting to hear. So, yeah, first part was Overhaul, and this is honestly, I think, midway through this arc, I feel like this is where people thought My Hero started to fall off.
Agreed.
For me, looking back at it now, I can kind of understand. I can understand the gripes that were kind of against as far as animation. I think the story was good in my opinion. I think there's some stuff they could have done better, but I thought it was pretty good. But let's see, the major fights I'm trying to think of. So Red Riot and Fat Gum versus, I forgot dude's name, I think Rappa, who punches a lot. That's really all I can describe him as. We have, I think before that, Tamaki fought, I forgot what's his name, but Tamaki's from the Big Three. He fought, I forgot.
Oh, he's the animal guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He like ingests it and he can
turn into it.
Yeah, he fought him, and then before that was, or after that, after Red Riot, and then was Mirio versus Overhaul, which I think is kind of some of the controversy started to come in. And then Deku versus Overhaul.
Real quick, there's one fight I want to add. It was like between Red Riot and the Knives guy.
Before the invasion started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought that fight was like
Cool.
Oh, because that's when
really
Unbreakable got introduced. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That was cool.
not too much to say about it, but like just seeing him kind of come out of the background as a background character, he's like, oh, he's like actually leveling up. Like the kids are getting strong.
I think I enjoyed season 4 for sure. I don't remember after like the Overhaul and Deku fight. I don't remember too much about that, but yeah, I think it was a solid season.
I meant the arc, bro.
Oh, I mean the arc was. I think the arc was good.
This nigga ain't watch it.
That's probably one of the
It sounds like a Socratic seminar when they're like, what was your favorite part of the book? I just love the duality of.
Yeah, you can cook it. Go ahead, John.
Season 4. No, we're talking about the first arc, right? Mm-hmm.
So you said you agree that this is where you thought Meyer started to fall
Yeah,
off.
it kind of started to get a little boring. What was the end of this arc again? What was the last thing?
Not I Died.
Not I Died. That was like
He was
his
in the
fight
hospital.
with.
Or well,
His fight with.
well, the final I guess fight was Deku Infinite 100.
Yeah, with the big fists in the air.
Thought that was boring. I ain't gonna lie.
Nah, that's what I'm like. I thought it was good.
I mean, it was visually good. Like, it looked good. It was entertaining in terms of like action, but I feel like there was like, I don't know, the whole like all the characters kind of got boring for me a little bit. The only ones that seemed like even semi interesting to me were Mirio. I actually did like Night Eye, but I feel like that was it. Like after them two, I was kind of just like, I feel like I've seen all of this already. So it's kind of just got really boring. But that was throughout the whole season though. But for this specific arc, action was good, fights were good. I was not the biggest fan of it overall, pretty much.
I think them ending on the introduction of Lemillion on the previous arc and then going into like this 4th season, right? I think that's what probably made it feel like really slow, because you saw that fight where he's like, you know, kicking everybody ass, right? And then you go into like this and it kind of like slows down a little bit. Like I just felt like the pacing was a little off.
I feel like
rolling off of that energy.
I feel like even though I enjoyed the episode where he fought overall. I think that episode could have just been better. I think for his, and I mean, I'm not completely caught up with him on, so I can't say, but that was pretty much his only like moment in the spotlight for real, if that makes sense. But that was like his big fight pretty much. And I feel like they could have did a little bit better as far as like in animation. I feel part of the reason why a lot of people don't like season 4 or feel like they kind of started to fall off is because of some things feels rushed. And at that point, I think this is when they were making, I don't know if this is the first or the second movie, but at the same time as season 4 was being created, this movie was also being created. So I believe workers were taken away from the production of the show.
Why do anime like make movie if movie not canon?
Why are you talking like that?
I mean, it's probably just for money, bro. Like,
Oh, you're asking legit, like, wow.
Yeah.
I thought you was being stupid, bro.
no, it's probably just for money, bro. I mean, and then in My Hero's case, at this point, I mean, and it still is one of the most popular new gens out. The name alone is gonna sell, like regardless. You put all that to the side, like it's gonna sell. And I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. Opinions on the movie withstanding, like money. The movie could be bad, the last movie could be bad, but My Hero Academia is gonna sell, so that's just how it is. Not even gonna get to the fandom, but second part was the music festival, and I can already tell that y'all did not like that part.
Oh no, I didn't even watch it. I don't remember a thing about that, John.
So I'll skip. People even flat out thought it was filler. This is when
I did until the end,
with Gentle.
where they were like, there were developments in characters when I was like, okay, so this can't be filler.
Yeah.
I'm with Jordan. I didn't watch that junk. I mean, I watched it, but ain't a part of my brain that I remember.
So season 4, overrated, underrated, perfectly rated.
Overrated. Final answer.
I mean, even though I did enjoy like the first half, I'm gonna go overrated as well.
Crazy.
That's when it started.
You copying me?
No.
Respect.
If we're talking about like what the populace rates the episode,
That's what I was gonna say.
I think they rate it like okay. Like it's probably like 4 out of 10. Pretty bad season. So I would say like it's rated justly.
Season 5,
Eat that butt.
Oh yeah, keep that in.
yeah, I'm keeping that. Season 5, at the end of season 4, Endeavor fights the No. And we get introduced to Hawks as well. So at the end of, we get introduced to Hawks. Endeavor fights the No. And at this point, well, even before then, he was kind of making strides or he's realizing that he needs to, he wants to change and, make steps to being towards a better person in general, but a better father too. But so this is the end of season 4. Season 5 even more emphasizes that. And I think at this point, people were kind of iffy on this season as well.
For real?
Yeah.
Damn.
So the first part is of season 5. This is the aftermath of Endeavor fighting the Nomu, which is like an episode. And the first arc is pretty much Class A versus Class B. A lot of people thought that arc was boring. So that's what the teams.
Were they like teams of 3 against each other?
Yeah, so that's when Shinzo comes back, basically to, I guess, his tryout for the Hero Corps.
Gotcha.
That's when they was fighting them pipes.
Yeah.
And that was when, Bakugo had his I finally know how to fight with teammates.
Yeah.
Type junk. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
So, and then the second part in the middle was kind of like with Endeavor and his family, or the training arc, I guess, with Deku, Bakugo, Todoroki, and Endeavor. And then part of that also is Endeavor trying to make up with his family. The daughter, I forget her name,
Eri?
but Eri's the girl that they say from Overhaul.
Talking about Endeavor's daughter. No?
What was that?
You talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, Endeavor's daughter,
Continue.
yeah. But she's kind of been in the middle. She wants everything
The one
to
with
go
the
back to normal.
glasses.
Yes.
Yes.
She's the one that's she's in the middle. She wants to make everything okay again.
People pleaser.
Todoroki is kind of in the middle. He's not against his father, trying to be better, but also at the same time, like, he needs to see stuff. He needs to see improvement instead of him just kind of saying words. And then the other son, Natu, I think that's his name.
Yes.
He just don't care. Like, he's not hearing none of it, which all three of them are valid. I think Natu is very valid in how he feels as well. Again, we talked about this earlier for season 2. I feel like My Hero hits a lot of like realism too, because crazy for Endeavor to be abusing his family and then kind of come back and not necessarily act like, nothing happened, but for the kids to act like nothing happened and just basically like, oh, like everything's fine again, stuff like that. I think it's realistic to show that he's willing to put in the work, and then, everyone's feelings is like, again, it's realistic. So I appreciate that. I enjoyed that part. He's willing to put in the work, and then, everyone's feelings is like, again, it's realistic. So I appreciate that. I enjoyed that part. And then after that is the My Villain Academia part. So any opinions?
What happened in the My Villain part?
So basically at the end of the arc, I don't know what's the correct term, but Shigaraki basically, this is him becoming broken. Like, every villain I think pretty much got their awakening.
Yeah.
In their quirk.
The leader, what's his name?
Destro.
Yeah.
Destro.
He sent, I think, Gigantomachia, right?
Gigantomachia to do what?
To Shigaraki. No. It was the doctor.
The doctor, I was
that
gonna say
sent
freaking Eggman, bro.
Gigantomachia, yeah. To Shigaraki to like essentially like level him up. So he put him under like stress. It was like months that they were fighting, and
like literally no rest.
the only time they got to rest was when Gigantomachia would like pass out for a little bit, and then he would wake up and then they would fight again.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
In like the, not desert, but like the forest or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And eventually they took that fight to Destro, and that's kind of what spiraled everything. They were using that fight to kind of like bulldoze through their like forces and stuff.
Was season 5 also when Destro and Shigaraki fought?
Yes, that was like
the end, right?
Yeah, not the very end.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm following now. I think they did a really good job. I enjoyed his character development, and that fight was crazy. But yeah, I'm not on Endeavor's side, but I respect his moves. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna skip all the way to the end. When I think for me, this season was where it kind of started to come up for me again, and it was strictly because of Shigaraki. I did not necessarily like him as much either, because I'm not saying he was like a crybaby. He was just like
Whiny.
He was,
like weird,
yeah.
you know what I mean? I just did not vibe with that kid like at all. But when he started to give me like that Stain energy. You know what I mean? Where he was like, look, this is my motive. I'm gonna like change how I do things. I'm gonna get stronger so that I can actually like carry these things out. And he was like, when he fought Destro, and that man, like, I think at one point Destro was like super ginormous, like covered in purple with like his stress or whatever. Mm-hmm. And Shigaraki, like, at one point he like punched Shigaraki or something, and Shigaraki literally used like his pinky and like touched his finger, and it started to disintegrate. And I was like, yo, this dude is getting crazy. And like from that, I was like, okay, this is gonna be interesting, because this kid now has the power to do damage, you know what I mean? And from that, I was like, all right, this is cool. So the next season, was actually pretty good to me. But I think once I kind of started to see Shigaraki step in, like he was kind of taking his steps up by taking over I forgot what they were called, but now they call it something else.
The
Something Front, World Revolution Front.
Yeah, it was like Liberation Front.
Liberation Front or something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
But,
something
and then
like
Shigaraki
that.
came in and like combined the names or something,
Yeah.
like Liberation Front, League of Villains. I don't know what he
Yeah.
said, but that was cool, right? I also like I'm a big guy on like loyalty type stuff. Like for me and my hero, it's that Gigantomachia and Shigaraki like connection. I'm like, bro, that junk is cool to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's another thing for season 6. I keep thinking of season 6, but yeah, that stuff was cool. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Give it a solid like 7.5 out of 10, 8 out of 10.
Okay, Jordan.
He basically hit it all. I'm gonna just say, go straight to Shigaraki's backstory. That's all I'm gonna just say. That jump was sad.
That junk was
Like
detrimental.
when he killed the dog, killed the mom, killed the dad.
Not the dog.
The dog.
The dog.
Can I pet that dog?
The dog. No,
That
but
man
that.
killed the dog. He was.
Nah, he was like sick. That junk disappeared.
What was cool though was when he purposely killed his dad, because that dude was a
Yeah.
douchebag.
Yeah, I was gonna say his
Yeah,
dad.
he
I was
got mad. He got
his dad
pissed.
kinda-
I was glad he did that.
His family, honestly, in general, like even his sister, low-key, was kind of selling him out.
Yeah.
Sister,
So
I mean, his mom, I understand. Like, I feel bad for his mom, but everybody else is low-key. Again, I mean, they were kids, so there's that too.
can't mess with a kid with a quirk like that. You know what I mean?
But yeah, people was doing him dirty.
Do you think, this is a little off the wall, the kid in the red hat, do you think he would have ended up like Shigaraki?
Coda?
Because he was in a similar situation.
Where his parents.
That is true, because I mean,
They just weren't number
his
one,
Dad,
or-
his dad ended up the way that he did because, what's her name? The one that uses for One for All left pretty much to go basically protect his family from All for One. So, and that's just, I get what you're saying.
I guess that duty of being a hero, that kind
Yeah.
of like,
Do I think
created
Coda
that.
would have ended up like that? I don't think so. I mean, I think maybe if he wasn't under with the, I don't want to say their names because I know y'all gonna laugh.
the Cootie Cats.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember that.
if he wasn't like with them, I feel like maybe he.
With who?
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, I didn't catch it.
If he wasn't with the Pussycats, they
Okay.
would have been.
the
Yeah.
Pussycats.
No, I genuinely didn't know their name.
Yeah. If he wasn't under them,
Under who?
Pretty kids.
if he wasn't under them, I feel like maybe like something would have changed. But like they were also looking out for him, you know,
Yeah.
since their parents.
Yeah.
That's fair.
You know, so maybe, but I don't know. That's a good question though. I didn't think about it like that.
Hey, if it was me, and I was in either of their situations, I would have gone demon instantly.
How would you go demon with the water hose?
What?
That's his ability.
Wait, who, the kid?
Yeah, I forgot, low-key, because because wasn't he was finna kill him, bro? Mugga was finna kill me. He get shot water on. He said, "Is that water?"
Look, bro. Look, the same way
That thing you do in the shower, bruh.
The same way Muriel took his ability and turned it into a crazy ability, I'd figure out something with them water hoses, bro.
Pressure jet.
Pressure jet.
Yeah.
Yep.
But go ahead. Like your opinion on the
The only thing I remember is the Shigaraki thing.
Fight with Destro?
Yeah, I thought what was cool was what's her name? The sadistic.
Toga.
Yeah, her like awakening
She slid.
was
Yeah, she was cool.
I thought her awakening was necessary, and I thought Shigaraki's was necessary.
Yeah.
I did not think that anybody else, I felt like they kind of sped past it too. Twice.
Yeah.
His thing was cool too.
Twice slid, yeah.
Yeah, but that whole scene where she's like getting beat up, she's running into all these landmines, and then she turns into someone in the last like desperate chance, and then she just like goes sicko mode, starts touching everybody, everyone's up in the air, and then it's like that close up of her, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Ooh," and then you just see the blood. It's like,
She slid.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was an excellent scene. Beautiful scene. Chef's kiss.
Overrated, underrated, perfectly rated. You think it was okay?
Perfect.
I think the rating's fair.
W.
I don't think it was too much or too little. Sensational.
Do you think it's overrated?
No,
Underrated, perfect, or normal?
Well, not perfect, but
You going first next, bruh.
it was solid, bro.
Bruh.
Okay,
I
cool.
don't think it was underrated at all.
Season 6, finally we're here. I mean, this season just ended like in February or April or whatever. I don't know.
This is the best season.
Easily.
Underrated season.
I agree. I agree. Season 6 is definitely the best season in my
Devil's
opinion.
advocate. They finna hate me after this, but it's okay. Let's get live.
You said Devon. I think. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Season 6. This is the war. I think I got the name now. Peril, Normal, Liberation Front. I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah.
their
Oh
name.
yeah.
So this is the war between not UA, but just basically all heroes at this point, and the
Shigaraki and the Hero Society.
So the first, that's the first arc. The second mini arc is basically like, it's kind of, it goes into a little bit more about Endeavor, or like the Todoroki family a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the final part is the Deku
Black Air
vigilante,
Force,
yeah.
Deku.
First and foremost, I would say the twists and turns this arc had, they slid. Dobby's dance.
Yeah.
First of all, even the episode when Hawks killed twice, that was like, every week I was like, nah, this is probably the best episode of the season. That episode was really good. And then we obviously have Dobby's dance, Dobby's reveal. Did y'all at any point think that Dobby was Endeavor's kid?
Yes. I think
I said that.
when they were, I can't remember what season this was, and it might have been the music festival or whatever, but when Dobby was in the forest, and he was like, the first time we've seen Dobby like use his flames to like engulf the forest, I was like, That was the first time I kind of like suspected it a little bit.
Did you think that
I think I got it spoiled for me, to be honest.
I did get it spoiled?
Yeah, so it was hard to even be like, aha, because it was
Finally.
like,
Yeah, I did get spoiled too, but
That's crazy.
looking back at it now, a lot of stuff like made sense up until before. Like I think they did a good job of. But I think too, because again, I mean, you felt like you knew. Like, I think the author, when he was making this, at this point, I think it was just a common thing that everyone knew. Like it was Dobby he was Toya Todoroki.
Yeah.
But I still think the way that he revealed it,
clean.
yeah, like it.
Clean.
Yeah.
I got my own opinion on that, but
Go ahead.
I think I don't know what, maybe someone can like give me like better understanding of this whole thing, but throughout season, I don't even remember, season 1, did we see Dobby in season 1?
He was introduced in season 2.
Season 2 up until season 6, up until that part where he revealed, I feel like Dobby was like one of the most chill characters. Like, hey, he like, I have two takes, but I feel like throughout the seasons, he was a really chill dude, right? And then up to this point where he's like, oh, I'm about to reveal to Endeavor, the number 2 hero, that this villain Dobby is actually his son. I'm his son, blah, 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 right? I feel like the way he went about it was great, but I feel like it was out of character. And in my head, I'm like, did they do that on purpose? Like, are they trying to make it like he's finally getting his revenge? Like he's finally like making it like hurting his father or hurting like, you know what I mean? So like in my head, I'm like, I don't know if I like this, but if it's something that's meant to happen, then it makes sense. You see what I'm saying? It's like,
to be fair, I think I won't say he's been scheming, because I think for a while he just was going to like kill them. Like I think that was just his plan. I think it wasn't until Endeavor did what he did on national television and his like stance, his perspective, his public image started changing,
Got you.
he was
Okay.
like, ooh, even better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ruin this man's career.
Gotcha.
And so that's like one thing. The second thing is him growing up as a kid, like looking at that personality. I don't know why exactly he may have been written. I just felt like he had one thing on his mind. And so like, up until getting to that point, there's no point for him to be excited. So he's stoic, he's calm, whatever. But now he's literally dancing like a fool
I get what you're saying.
because he's about to like achieve his goal. Like bro's excited.
Yeah.
So to the note of what you were saying, I think it would have been a little out of character, but if you take it under like consideration, his like excitement,
Makes sense.
he is deranged. He's literally like burning himself. I felt like it fit.
Gotcha.
And just to piggyback off what you said too, because he even said that to Endeavor. He was like, think you could basically change, like, you know, start new with your family, like whatever. And basically that was his whole point, like the past never dies. Like, you're gonna reap everything that you've sown at this point. Like you're not safe. So
And then bro said, let's dance, and then jumped off the
yeah, nah, that man's crazy, bro.
Bro
But
was sick.
yeah,
He
and
was
then
just shaking in his boots. Shook,
so and then
petrified.
to move on, Muriel comes back. Muriel came in, started getting everybody hands. What happened at this point?
Genius came back.
Oh, Genus came back. Yep, that's true.
Who's that?
That's Genius.
That's Genus.
Oh, Genus.
Because remember,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think you mentioned it, but like Hawks
Killed him.
killed him
Killed him,
earlier.
yeah.
Killed him.
Yeah, that's what even though that whole thing, I was like, I don't think he killed Genus, bro.
I thought that man was dead.
I was like, there has to be something up. It just felt like weird to me. I just didn't know how they were gonna
Tie it
do
back.
it. Yeah. But yeah, Genus comes back. Hawks kills twice. Spoiler alert, I'm sorry.
It's too late.
We have to start with that.
Hawks kills twice. Again, I said that was probably one of the better episodes of the season. Dobby had that on him too. Dobby had that. I don't know what homeboy was who was editing. They had Premiere Pro loaded up. They was putting everything out. That's crazy. That's a fast team. But he had that out. And then after that, the war. Basically, they ended up getting away. Bakugo gets stabbed. Deku pretty much rushes in and almost gets one for all taken by Shigaraki. And then
That's when they call like Makia to come to take them away so he can like rest and they retreat.
we go into Endeavor. Endeavor and basically the Todoroki's backstory. We know why Dobby became the way that he did. Endeavor's intentions, I mean, were still kind of iffy. He wanted his son to be better than All Might. His firepower, Dobby's firepower, obviously surpasses Endeavor's. It was to the point that where he was kind of, well, he wasn't. I don't even think he was overtraining him. I just think that his body just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, he didn't have the
His mom's
The
quirk to
old
kind of
side to, like,
withstand.
keep
Yeah.
things-
yeah, and so since his firepower surpassed Endeavor, he had his mom's like lack of heat resistance, and that was like really messing up.
So
That man is really trying to have babies just to have a perfect one. Like, that's crazy to me.
I mean, his mom was cool with it though, or the one like that's
People do that today. They be trying to get D1 athletes.
That's insane.
What's that one girl name?
What? Williams?
She be going to like colleges.
Nah.
Well, we can skip past that.
But yeah, I mean, his intentions with it was a little weird, but I understand. Like, obviously, he finds out that his Dobby's body can't handle it, so he wants him to stop. Again, trying to get him to stop was understandable, but at that point, he already planted the seed of like, I want you to pass All Might. And Toya just thinks that's kind of what his purpose is, or he's obsessed with it at this point. So he tried to move on to have other kids, and when he gets to Todoroki, I think. Would you say his power awakened when he supposedly died, like Toya, in the forest?
As a kid?
Mm-hmm. Something like he was in there. He was. I think his power is tied to his emotions. I think that's what he said.
Yeah.
But I think he was just so like.
He was emotionally torn.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I'm gonna get stronger to prove to my dad that I'm like worth his attention.
Yeah.
He said, "You're not."
So yeah.
He was in the snow crying, and then he was like, I can't get it this time. And then
basically, yeah.
Punk cat.
That's crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much the intervention. The family pretty much vows to work together to stop him, however that may be.
WC.
Yeah, W family for real.
man, screw that family.
For real?
Honestly, bro, that whole plot, bro.
No, not for real. I'm just trying to get to Black Deku.
Respect. Same.
Respect.
They ain't making no moves yet. They just kumbaya in the
that man.
in the hospital bed.
Yeah, Dark Deku. Let's move on. Dark Deku. Oh man. I mean, this whole season was great, but this arc in particular, man, Malik just sounded like he just had a lot to say, so I'm gonna pass it on to you.
He was on his Miles Morales, bruh.
Let's go.
Said, nah. They got All Might driving the Batmobile, chasing Deku. They got so many people just out there like trying to keep up with Deku, and he's just here, there. Like he's the only hero really out there because a lot of them have retired.
Yeah, I mean at this point.
And so he's like literally Batman at this point.
He's giving me vigilante vibes. Like the cool thing is like, what's like another like when characters like that. See, that's the stuff I like. You know what I mean? Like he went from I hate the crybaby junk. I hate the emotional blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to see none of that, bro. I'm not trying to see like, of course, when it's like valid and or like when it has to do with like a person's character development, like with crying, that stuff matters. But like when it's like I'm not good enough to do any of this stuff, then do something about it, bro. So when he started taking that junk to like the next level, he was really on his junk. You know what I mean? Like. That's what I liked about his character.
So first off, I mean he body muscular. I mean the last time that he fought him, he was fighting for an inch of his life.
It took 3 episodes, I think.
he bodied him in one shot, pretty much. So that at that point he's like, all right, this man's freaking busted now. Move on. Well, I think the second fight is Nagant, which, I mean, Malik, again, it sounds like you got a lot to say. I'm gonna let you go, bro. Nagant, I'll say this, and I'm gonna let you go. Probably my favorite, she's definitely one of my favorite characters, I think, period, in the show.
I agree.
I think for...
Is she not top 10?
Hell nah, absolutely not.
Name 9.
9? God!
Yeah, look at
I'll tell you, I could do like a top 5er. God damn.
But her backstory completely valid, and I think for that all to happen, and I mean, I guess she was introduced earlier, but that whole fight was like technically 2 episodes. For that to be wrapped up like then and there. Like it, I don't know, man. Like it hit. Like it definitely hit for me.
No, it was great.
And again, it's understandable why she did it. Put the Hero Society in perspective. I forget the name what I'm thinking for, but the people who were like basically Hawks was her replacement.
Yeah.
But the organization that they were under,
yeah.
they were kind of on some BS. But my fault, Malik. I said too much. Go ahead.
No, you're good. And because they thought that they would lose public support if there were unlicensed heroes.
Yeah.
Which probably would have happened, but to like hold that. They would send her to go kill them and then paint them as like criminals.
Yeah.
And then that kind of like.
Which was an L.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, I wonder why they aren't. And I was like, because they got Nagant around bodying people.
That quirk is crazy, bro. And All For One gave her an airwalk, bro. Like, if under different circumstances, if this wasn't the case, she'd probably be the most broken.
She was
near outside
like,
of One For All.
She was cool, but for me, bro. Look, don't attack me for this, all right? But she was cool, but in my opinion, there are so many other cool characters, bro. Like, especially with like backstory, it just felt like I get her back. Like her backstory was good. I enjoyed it, right? And it had like significant impact, but like, look at these niggas. But look, it had significant impact, but like that didn't like draw me into her character. You know what I mean? Like
I think
like
more
her.
so. I mean, again, because I guess it was more tied into an episode that I understand, but I think it puts the heroes, like the overall Japan's perception of heroes, like the whole stigma of it all, it makes more sense. Like
I think it was necessary, and I think it was great that they put it into the show, especially now, because like obviously like it's her story, like Dabi's story with his father, like they're trying to paint the heroes as not as actual heroes, you know what I mean? Stain was in it as well for a point where he was like, I think he was talking to All Might, where he was like,
at the statue.
Like, are you All Might? Like, you're not the All Might that's on that statue, basically, type of thing. So like, the whole emphasis on like heroes not necessarily really who they actually are was like, I feel like Nagant's story like emphasized that, but after that, I didn't really get anything else. You know what I'm saying?
What else did you want?
Huh?
I said, what else did you want?
Well, I'm just saying that because
I've heard somebody say that too, but
I'm saying that because Devon said that, like, or you said like, oh, easily top 10, or like, for me, that's just not what that is. Like, her character is great, but it's not a top 10er. It's not a hit.
Not top 10 fight, or did you mean like
Character-wise, for me personally. Because I feel like her story was simply and solely to emphasize the fact that heroes aren't what they are, or the organization that runs the heroes aren't exactly what they're perceived to be.
basically, I just to like wrap what you're saying, because Deku even said in the episode, he was like, everything isn't like black and white pretty much. Like there's a gray area in
There's
between.
gray area,
So
and her story emphasized that very well.
Okay.
But that was it to me.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Did you like Hawks?
Yeah. For the wait, continue.
What do you think the difference, because they're like pretty much they have the same role, so what do you think the difference is between the two?
There really isn't much. I think Hawks is a cooler character because I like his ability more.
Okay.
But it's pretty much the same thing for me.
Okay.
With both of them.
So you would rank them like the same?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. Like Hawks is in the top 10er for me, but he's a cool behind character. You know, like when I watch Hawks, I'm like, ooh, that dude's kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? But like, in terms of like everything encompassed into one, he's not up there for me.
Okay.
Hawks is top 10. Nope. Did y'all like that fight?
No, which fight with Nagant and Midoriya? Yeah, it was a lit behind fight.
That's probably top.
Now that could be a top 10er. That junk is cool.
It's definitely it's like top 5, bro. I would say
that fight was cool.
No, it was cool seeing like, because obviously Deku's by himself, and so you have like the previous vestiges of One For All in his ear saying like, oh, what are you doing? You're not ready for this. And he's just doing squats in the smoke. I'm like, bro, he got a plan, bro. He got a plan. And then they both kept like outthinking each other, and it was really cool to see him like come out on top, and all the effort and work that he's put into like school, becoming a hero. Like it was all like paying off in that moment.
Yeah.
And then you saw like the person who like abused Eri essentially, and he like even went out of his way to like save him. I think what was cool too was
hands down the best season.
Like, I won't say my favorite part, but what had me like, yo, was when he caused the smoke and then he was throwing out like, he threw out like the scarf, the bag, and then ran through the building, bro. I was like, this man's a menace.
I was like, nah, this man is different, bro.
He was on it.
That man is different. Now, for real, that is probably my favorite episode, like in the show.
Yeah.
And even what comes after, like I enjoyed it, but like that part in particular, it didn't even feel like a regular My Hero episode. Like it felt, I don't know, they felt like a movie, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. They snapped it.
I think one thing for me, because I love the season, right? And I'm just gonna give you guys like a perspective of like what I love to see, right? And stuff like that I love to see, right? And when after pretty much at the end of the season, when they go back to like UA and all the people are like trashing them, blah, 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 and Deku's like not necessarily on demon time anymore, it kind of like slides down a little bit for me, you know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like that's why I oftentimes like either side characters or like villains, vigilantes, or like, for instance, like Hunter x Hunter, Crow is my favorite character. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're stuck on demon time 24/7. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's stuff like that that intrigues me, as long as they're not like they start somewhere and that's where they get to, very like snap of the finger like, and they stay there kind of thing, right? So now with like Midoriya, for me, it's kind of like a plateau, but he's up there. Like he got there and it's like up here, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So, yeah.
I would say one thing, I like how it came full circle. Y'all may not remember this as much, but like when the Dark Deku thing first started and he saved like that girl. I don't remember.
Oh,
remember
the bunny chick?
That's what it was. Yeah, the bunny chick. Yeah.
Okay.
I like how it came like full circle, and it was like the shot was like on his back, and it was reminded me of All Might, like in the very beginning.
Oh yeah.
I just like that shot, and like I just came full circle. But, yeah.
I feel you, man.
Yeah, the Rocket speech, it was a tearjerker.
Sure.
But
Who's?
Uraraka, when
Oh.
I mean, obviously Class 1A like saving him, like if that man wasn't tired, that man would have just been gone, bruh. Like just off rip. But
Passed out as soon as he grabbed him. I was like,
Yeah,
that was his
yeah.
last little bit of energy.
But the fact that, I mean, it's still crazy that they were even able to keep up in the slightest, bro, because One For All is just broken, especially at this point. I mean, it was a broken power in general, but
That took a whole class though.
yeah. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. If he wasn't tired, he's gone. Like, and even if he was slightly above what he was, he would have still been gone.
I feel like we can argue that no one there was like really trying to fight though, because like these are like, yeah, he's doing his thing, and he's. Well, I guess I can say like he also kind of disrespected All Might a little bit, or not disrespected, but kind of shunned him. So maybe, and you can use that in the argument to be like, okay, even when he is fighting his friends and classmates, he kind of feels the same way. But on the other end, I feel like his classmates aren't like, they're not really fighting to like kill, you know what I mean? So I feel like, yeah, One For All is broken. He doesn't have it mastered, blah, 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 but I feel like it is broken, and if they were to like go like head to head, like everyone fighting to like kill each other, I feel like it would still fall in Midoriya's favor, but I don't think it's as overpowered to kill that many strong characters like on its own, like just like clockwork kinda. You see what I'm saying?
Do you want me to go?
You got it.
Okay, I think so in this situation, this hypothetical,
Yeah.
it's fully rested Midoriya,
Fully rested.
bloodlusted, versus Class A bloodlusted.
Class A bloodlusted.
I think he does a United States of Smash.
They're all just gone.
Yeah, and that's just one of the abilities. And so I feel like, because there was a point where someone, I think it was Mineta, he used like a little thing to grab onto him, and he used Black Whip to like take
Gently
him
put
off.
him down, yeah. Put him like a baby, bro.
And so I'm like, he could have like, because you saw when Black Whip got like destructive and it was like messing up his arm. So like
I can't remember that.
that was in
Season 5.
They were fighting for classes,
when,
right?
When
And
Uraraka had to
so-
like try to calm him down or something?
Yeah.
Okay,
And so looking at that, like it's not just like that guy's tape, like it could like do some damage. And so I'm thinking like if he just throws Black Whip out, he can like
Grab through them.
he can probably decapitate somebody.
I feel you.
So I don't think it's
Nothing
I
like.
still think it's an easy wash, bro. I ain't gonna lie. But I mean, especially when it comes to.
it's gonna be Bakugo and Todoroki.
That's it.
But yeah, so now at the end of the season, he gets brought back. We get introduced to Stars and Stripes, who was. Stars and Stripes.
Give him time, bro.
Stars and Stripes is she's a hero from the United States, obviously.
He gonna get Toon Force from One for All. Or All for All. My bad, continue.
No, you're good. Stars and Stripes is she was All Might's former student, so she's coming over
How you do that?
She said it.
What she said that?
She said, literally, she was like, if my master's in danger, she was like, why wouldn't I come over here?
Wait, who said that?
I thought she said my friend.
No, she said my master.
Ooh, I thought she said friend as well.
She said my master.
What? Who's she talking about?
I felt like you just spoiled it, low key.
She's, I promise. I'll show you after this.
I know she said it while she was on the plane.
Yeah.
Too, right?
She said
was flying
mine.
on the plane.
I got
just
you,
can't
bro.
remember exactly what she said.
Now, what I will say is, because I mean, it could be misinterpreted in between subs and like, but I've seen it in the sub, and she verbally said it in the dub. Like I'd heard her out of her
And she's
mouth
talking
say
about
it.
All Might? Master's crazy.
But because this is when they're finding out just about basically Shigaraki and All For One's next move. But yeah, so that's where the season ends. Again, what's your rating? Overrated, underrated, perfectly rated, just fine. What do you think?
I think it is at a perfectly rated state. I agree. I think it was well. I think from my perspective, I believe the ratings would be like 8 out of 10 or 8 to 10, somewhere in that range. I think that's pretty fair.
Okay.
No, it was definitely perfectly rated. Sensational.
Yeah, I would say, if not slightly underrated, because I feel like there were just a few people probably who were just like, nah, because of that fandom. The fandom is weird.
Yeah,
They're just like, nah, it's not all that. They just want to hate. But for the most part,
Fandom is weird though.
Fandom is
I
weird.
agree.
Some weird ass people.
They get it together.
Y'all need to chill out because it's us y'all making look bad.
Touch grass, you know.
Please.
Please touch some grass,
Maybe a bar of soap.
Maybe.
some deodorant.
And wash your feet because I know you don't be doing that.
And
You
that's
stink. Oh god.
Between them. Anyways, I think it was just leave it.
Crevices.
Just leave it.
You already know my opinion. It's fantastic. Best season of the show, period. But yeah, does anyone want to close it out?
Overall, the whole anime.
That's fine. That's facts. Overall, whole anime. What do you think? Do you agree with the notion that it's overrated?
Overrated?
Overall, yes.
No, not at all. Not one bit.
No.
Not one bit. Perfect. It's good enough.
Maybe season 4. That's about it.
I don't think it's overrated, underrated.
I think it's accurate.
It's accurate.
No, okay.
Well, that's all we got. Tune in next time. We'll talk about some other topics, some other animes. Maybe leave some suggestions in the comments. You feel me? Like
Please.
help us out. You know what I'm saying?
Please.
This has been Black Link, John Jordan, Devon, Malik, and we'll catch you next time. You feel me?
Next time on Dragon Ball.